Hello and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering EDH deck tech idea. Today we are taking a look at Hope Estheim, a 2-mana 2/2 with lifelink. His triggered ability says, at the beginning of your end step, each opponent mills X cards where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. This is a very interesting build because we are in Azorius colors with a Lifegain and a mill theme combined into a proactive play because you have to gain a bunch of life during your turn. Most of the time Hope Estheim will be your 2-drop, and due to it having lifelink you can already start attacking players when they don't have so many creatures committed to the battlefield to already get your mill plan going. As we want to fire off a bunch of very expensive spells, we also want to ramp. This is why we play cards like Pristine Talisman, a 3-mana artifact. You can tap it to add a colorless mana and gain a life along the way. We play Fort Vessel, a 2-mana artifact, and you have no maximum hand size and you can tap it for a colorless mana. Having no maximum hand size is a relevant thing, especially in Azorius colors, because we can draw a bunch of cards. With Final Fantasy we also got the Wind Crystal, a 4-mana legendary artifact, and white spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and if you would gain life you gain twice that much life instead, which is already great in this deck. And for 6 mana and tapping it, creatures you control gain flying and lifelink until end of turn, which turns this card also into a game finisher, especially in this deck, simply because you give all of your creatures evasion and lifelink, which can lead to a game-changing mill in your end step. If we are playing the Wind Crystal, we also play the Water Crystal, a 4-mana legendary artifact, and blue spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Furthermore, if an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill that many cards plus 4 instead. You can also activate this legendary artifact for 6 mana and tapping it, and each opponent mills cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. Of course we gotta play Azorius Signet, a 2-mana artifact, and for 1 mana and tapping it you can add Azorius colors to your mana pool. And then also Talisman of Progress, a 2-mana artifact. You can tap it for colorless or you can tap it for white or for blue, and this artifact deals 1 damage to you. Let's play more supportive artifacts that we can put into this deck. We play Alhammerad's Archive, a 5-mana legendary artifact, and if you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. Furthermore, if you would draw a card, except the first one on your draw, in each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. We play Vansa's Journal, a 5-mana artifact, and you have no maximum hand size, and at the beginning of your upkeep you gain 1 life for each card in your hand. You want to have Leyline of Hope in your opening hand, a 4-mana enchantment, and if it is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Furthermore, if you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. And it also has a nice Anthem effect, because as long as you have at least 7 or more than your starting life total, creatures you control get +2/+2. I'm a big fan of Cosmos Elixir, a 4-mana artifact, and at the beginning of your end step, draw a card if your life total is greater than your starting life total, and otherwise you gain 2 life. An alternative win con can be Aetherflux Reservoir, a 4-mana artifact, and whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. You can also pay 50 life into its activated ability, so Aetherflux Reservoir deals 50 damage to target creature or player. Your most preferable 1-drop will be Fountain of Renewal, a 1-mana artifact, and at the beginning of your upkeep you gain 1 life. Later in the game you can also sacrifice it for 3 mana to draw a card. And now let's talk about spells that can win you the game. Beacon of Immortality, a 6-mana instant, double target player's life total. Shuffle Beacon of Immortality into its owner's library. A bunch of the following spells will be instants, but you want to fire them off during your turn to get the maximum profit out of Hope Estheim's triggered ability. We play Riot Control, a 3-mana instant. You gain 1 life for each creature your opponents control, and you prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. We play Congregate, a 4-mana instant. Target player gains 2 life for each creature on the battlefield. A very flexible spell is Heliod's Intervention, a 2-mana and X instant, and you can choose 1, destroy X target artifacts and or enchantments, or target player gains twice X life. We play Chaplain's Blessing, a 1-mana sorcery, and you gain 5 life. And last but not least, Rest for the Weary, a 2-mana instant, and target player gains 4 life. It also has landfall, so if you had a land enter the battlefield under your control this turn, that player gains 8 life instead. And now let's talk about a few very supportive creatures in this deck. We play Serra Ascendant, a 1-mana 1/1 with lifelink, and as long as you have 30 or more life, Serra Ascendant gets +5/+5 and has flying. This is probably your strongest turn 1 play that you can commit to the battlefield, as your turn 2 play will be Hope Estheim, and if you then can already connect with Serra Ascendant, you will make your opponents mill 6 cards. We play another replacement effect, Brewwerk the Grandiloquent, a 3 mana 1/4, and if an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many cards instead. A very powerful blocker is Nyx Fleece Ram, a 2 mana 0/5, and at the beginning of your upkeep you gain 1 life. Let's play even more replacement effects with cards like Rock's Faith Mender, a 4 mana 1/5 with lifelink, and if you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. An alternative wincon of yours can be Will, Scion of Peace, a 3 mana 2/4 with vigilance, and you can tap it, so spells you cast this turn that are white and or blue cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. But you can only activate this ability as a sorcery. You can add a bunch of very powerful X spells to your deck, which will discount, just like Heliod's Intervention for example, and once you have gained a bit of life during your combat phase, for example with Hope Estheim, the discount will work in your favor. And for additional protection and feeding our game plan, we play Goldforge Thropterix, a 2 mana 1/3 with flying and lifelink, and each legendary permanent you control has Ward 2. Remember that this counts for your legendary permanents, so also a few of your legendary artifacts. You want to win more? You get it. We play Crested Sunmare, a 5 mana 5/5, and other horses you control have Indestructible. Furthermore, at the beginning of each end step, if you gained life this turn, create a 5/5 white horse creature token. Don't get me wrong, we definitely want to mill our opponents out, but it's always a good thing to have an alternative wincon. For example, if a few of our opponents are playing Kozilek or also a Gaia's Blessing in their deck, and Crested Sunmare will definitely help you to win with combat damage. Alternatively, we also play Valkyrie Harbinger, a 6 mana 4/5 with flying and lifelink, and at the beginning of each end step, if you gain 4 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. This card follows the same idea as Crested Sunmare, of simply being an alternative wincon and committing a bunch of angels that are flying in vigilance and riding on indestructible horses is a great alternative wincon. Alright guys, these were a few cards that I would play in Hope Estheim. Let me know which cards you would add to the deck, which legendary creature I shall feature next. Make sure to check out my full deck list in the notes below, and then I would say, see you in the next one. Goodbye guys.